I've got a writing day. Tomorrow's a writing day. I get to write, but I have to edit. If I was better at writing, I wouldn't need to edit as much.
Hey everybody, it's John Lamberton here alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We are here for another episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without just working harder. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Christmas special of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. Myself and Jace here, chewing the fat. As always, this must be, is this our 8th Christmas, 9th Christmas of doing the ALB podcast?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. We're going to turn this into, we're not going to turn it into, I promise. You know the Morecambe and Wise Christmas special 1974 that's on TV every year? We don't do repeats here. Bring me sunshine every day. No, we are going to bring you sunshine in a way. So I dug out my plan for last year's Christmas special, and it was, what's happened this year? Well, we've had a cost of living crisis. We've had high inflation, and we've got problems with, there's a bad budget coming. I thought, hang on a minute, have I picked up the wrong year? Because it just seems we're having a repeat again in 2025, doesn't it?
Absolutely does, yeah. All of those things I think we could say we could apply to this one. So we need to kind of swing away from that. I did hear that we didn't do politics, which we talked about that for the last.
We've talked about that quite a lot this year. How we don't do politics.
Politics. Yeah. So I'm going to keep this political free, just to help some of our 1%ers who did this, and they said that was a bit political, wasn't it, Clark?
That's the problem with saying things publicly. We do get picked up on it, don't we?
Yes.
I'm just, again, for sort of complete transparency's sake, this episode is coming out in December. We are recording this before the budget, and you will obviously be hearing this after the budget. So we don't know what you know, other than we're all very aware that there's plenty of good news coming for business owners and wealth creators. We all know that. So, yeah. Other than that, we're not going to get political.
Good, because I don't want to do politics.
So what has been happening this year then, Jace?
So this year we've had some great stuff going on in 1% Club. We had our live event, which was great. Over 40 of our 1%ers joined us for a live event called Opportunity Knocks, where we had lots of frameworks about how to spot, identify, choose the right opportunity, and how to enact on the opportunities that face us every day.
We did. Moved to Birmingham. I think it was first year in Birmingham, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And very, very well received. And yeah, the Opportunity Knocks, there was a lot. We didn't have Bob Monkhouse. That was the one thing that really disappointed me. You know, who else was there was another host of Opportunity Knocks, wasn't there?
So way before my time.
Yeah, right.
I obviously don't look that old.
But yeah, it's we talked as well, I think, about rejecting opportunities, because I think one of the things we identified very quickly with the Opportunity Knocks framework was there are a plethora of opportunities out there, and all the negativity that we started with, the cost of living crisis, the inflation, the budget, all that, there's still opportunities. There are still potential ways that you could grow your business, and we're still finding ways to improve our businesses and improve them and leave them one step better every single week. The opportunities are out there. They're maybe not as obvious as they normally are. They maybe are not shouting as loud as the negativity and the bad news and all the things that are going wrong with the world. That's the stuff that gets the headlines. I always say, like, if you're reading about something in the paper and it's frightening you, it's making you anxious, it's in the newspaper for one reason and one reason only, because it's newsworthy, because it's so rare and unheard of that it's worth reading about. The positive stuff, business does a bit better than normal, doesn't make headlines. Stock market goes up 1%, doesn't make it past about page 74 of the newspaper. Stock market crashes 2%. That's front page news, and it's always been the way. It always will be the way, and we just need to look at those opportunities. Birmingham wasn't the only place we went this year, though, was it?
It was for live, yeah. No, it was Flamingos on tour. First ever Flamingos on tour, where a group of 1%ers joined John, myself, and Lee in Alicante in October for a bit of winter sun. If October's winter, it feels like it. Winter sun, and a bit of warmth, camaraderie, bit of relationship building. It was really fantastic, I thought.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. We had no real agenda for this other than it's a few days of hanging around with like-minded business owners, fellow ambitious lifestyle business owners in the nice warm sunshine of Alicante, which thankfully the week we chose was nice and warm and sunny. The week before, I think was it floods? Ian posted a picture of a refrigerator floating down a street.
Some storms the week before, which they cleaned up before we got there, which was rather good.
They did. You had absolutely no sign of it whatsoever. But it was. I loved just that feeling. It was reminded me of our first live, where I just would be looking at random people, and they were random people who, if it wasn't for the 1% Club, would not know each other. Finding those things they had in common. There were two people that went to the same primary school, and they didn't realise it until they'd lived in different countries at one point, run very, very different businesses, and they're kind of quite not quite apart, but they're a little bit apart in age. But they realised that hang on, I grew up in that town. Oh, me too. Went to the same school, and everybody found this. You said camaraderie, and it was absolutely that. Just a bunch of people. What we had about a dozen people there. All kind of doing a little bit of lifestyle design for a week, taking themselves off the hamster wheel, out of their business, away from their families, away from their friends, just focusing on themselves and how they could have a better lifestyle next year. It was, yes, we talked about the business and we had a little mini mastermind around the swimming pool, around the apartment. But predominantly what we talked about was, this is nice, isn't it? Look at this, waking up in the sunshine, strolling along the promenade. I could do this every day. And of course, a few people are expats. They have moved out there and like, yeah, I do this every day. I literally chuck the dog in the car and we walk along the promenade and we play paddle in the afternoon. And that's what we do. And we've often talked about the aspirational and inspirational part of the 1% Club, that someone can stand on stage and say, I've shut down big parts of my business. I only work a couple of hours a week. I've moved to Spain. And others will go, oh, that's possible. Is that possible for me? Well, Flamingos on tour gave everybody the opportunity to cross-grill each other. So how did you do that? How did you move to Spain? How do you deal with that? Having a UK business at home, how do you deal with the tax? What are you doing about visas? What about the car? How do I bring the dog over? All of those. But how do I do that question? Suddenly, that group, there's something very, very powerful about the group. And it's why we've always said, 1% Club is a group coaching community. I think in the early days of the 1% Club, it was very much, it was just me and you. Let's help some people out. Let's do this. We called ourselves mentors to begin with. Let's mentor people and help them. But now it's far less about thee and me. It really is the community, and we are almost just facilitating putting those connections together, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it, to be fair. And every time our 1%ers get together, whether it's on the Zoom calls, less, but certainly in person, you can kind of see that the sparks of what people dream about, what the dreams are, changing into more of that aspiration, and actually the tools and resources and stuff that's available and the people who've lived that experience and stuff move that dream into that reality point. So you can see that movement across into these things, which is great. And just getting them all together and just watching it. People not met each other at all. People have been in the club for years. People who've just joined the club and taken a punt and going and trying this out. Yeah, absolutely brilliant, I think. just watching those connections happen. Yeah,
it is like neurons firing, isn't it?
yeah.
What's not been so good this year? Because I don't know about you, mate, but I've not enjoyed this year overall.
No, I guess we haven't really. There are elements of losing that joy that we've kind of seen. It hasn't all been a barrel of laughs the entire time, which we may have enjoyed over the last few years. That joy from everything that we've done. It is a symptom of, I think, lifing in 2025, and certainly lifing since COVID and stuff like that, where actually there isn't so much joy about. I think, we're not going to do politics, but we can talk about the media. Everywhere you look, it's doom, gloom. We talked about that doom loop a bit earlier on in the call, wasn't it? And actually, everywhere you look, it's a bit doomy and a bit gloomy. And actually, it does tend to zap the joy and the tolerance that you may have for lifing and the tolerance you might have for peopling. And I think from my conversations on one-to-ones and stuff with some of the one centres, I think peopling has been a bit more challenging recently. I don't know whether that's a post-COVID 2 or 3 years of non-peopling, or whether that's just the way things are because people are dooming and glooming. They'd rather spend time doing the things they'd like.
I think it's because people don't know how to people in terms of they don't know how to behave themselves around other people. So the other people that they are annoying are getting annoyed by them. It dropped in my mind. We went on a cruise in the summer, and like day one of the cruise, we haven't even left port, and the captain is doing an announcement about antisocial behaviour, and we won't tolerate abuse to staff or other passengers. And we just sat there going, why do they need to do this? We're on a cruise. And then about a week in, we hear that someone's been evicted from the cruise for having a punch up in the middle of the restaurant. Like, that's why they say that.
It obviously worked.
Yes, would have been fights every night otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it that? I don't know. For me, I think it's more about that joy, and I think we've talked on previous podcasts, and certainly the last year's one we talked about actually me finding some joy and working out what that piece looks like, and we talked about potential emigrating out to Fuerteventura or another place, and things like that. And actually, I think people are looking for those minutes for of joy now in their lives, which I think everything else is doom and gloomy. So actually looking out to find out what that piece is, I guess that is important. Priorities have changed. I think I think that's a post-COVID thing. Priorities have changed. It is about actually what makes me happy, not what makes my employer happy, not what makes my business happy. It's what makes me happy. I'm only going to do more of that. And when I can't do that, God, I'm depressed, I'm doomy, I'm gloomy, and and I think that affects your mood as well. And I think we've seen that ourselves in both in 1% Club and other businesses, that actually that there's been less joy this year than I think we've possibly had before. And that affects our outlook on life too, I guess.
It does. The media, I mean, you can't underestimate that. I've had a kind of microcosm element of that. So talk about it when we talk about book of the year later. But one of the books on my shortlist was a very, very, I would say, a very negative outlook on kind of the financial world, and basically made the point that we're all screwed and the world is going to hell in a handcart, and we probably end up going to war and we're all going to die. Oh, brilliant. Lovely. Thank you for that. And then suddenly, because I'd read this book and my eyes were then open to this stuff, I then suddenly noticed a news article about it, a podcast, another YouTube video, and all of a sudden the whole world is suddenly very, very negative. And I suddenly noticed that my mindset is negative. My stress levels are higher. I'm not enjoying the things that I would normally be enjoying. All because I read a book. So don't read books, guys. That's what it can do to you. I have snapped myself out of it now, but it required me reading another book which had a lot of positivity and a lot of the world is the best it's ever been and it's only going to get better from here on in. But it's very interesting to see that, that mindset drove everything. And, I mean, in preparation for this podcast, I made a long list of everything I haven't enjoyed this year. I injured my knee on the 3rd of January. So it's like all my health goals, all my training, straight out the window. Plymouth Argyle, relegated, and bottom of the league below as we record this that they're currently going into. Lots of stuff going on with the family at home that's just creating lots and lots of stress, and all this massive list of stuff, which comes easily to me. Now, I do a daily gratitude journal, and part of my routine for that is to review random entries that I've done at some point in the past. And about 2 weeks ago, I did my daily journal, and I hit the random button, and I got an entry from, I think it was June this year. And the entry basically said what a wonderful time I was having and how much fun I was having and how much I was really enjoying life. And I'm like, that was 3.5 months ago. And I'd completely forgotten that. Oh yeah, the weather was amazing. I think I'd just been to see Pulp. I was going to see Oasis. I had a holiday on the cards coming up. We'd just done Live. So Live was brilliant, full of momentum. And there was just good energy everywhere. And we hadn't started the 5-month or 4-month negative countdown towards the budget that everyone has just been getting clicks by and just in this doom loop ever since then. And it's just realizing that, yeah, there was joy this year. I did enjoy lots of things this year. And this year has been enjoyable. But the negative stuff, the stuff that I haven't enjoyed, is more, it sticks in the brain a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. I love the gratitude. There's been 1 or 2 1%ers that have taken that up this year, and actually you can see that difference in their outlook. But yeah, being off the media would certainly help.
Definitely. So what's the latest on Forteventura? Because I've said previously, I don't want to emigrate. I'm not looking for. This book made me start looking.
Okay.
Honestly, it affected my mindset so much that I went, right, I'm going to have to get out of this country, because if I don't, I'm going to be the last one left, or it's going to be like Beirut around here. And I don't want to be part of that. So I started looking, New Zealand, whatever, or a load of countries I've never even visited. And I'm suddenly looking at, should I live there? No. It got me looking. I'm back on staying on terra firma here in Blighty and having the freedom to travel. But yeah, that got me looking, which never has before. But
so this is I think my dream aspiration reality piece, isn't it? That's kind of it. So actually, you ignited a dream in you. It's actually like, what could life look like down under in New Zealand or wherever that may be. You explored it quite a lot as well, didn't you? So it's not just a thing. It's actually that dream piece. Then from that dream it turns into that aspiration. Actually, this is something I am going to do. We're going to work towards this, and that's the phase I'm in with Forteventura or another place. As I say, it has always been there. I don't know whether that's going to remain the case, but I want to try some other places out. I've not travelled so much, so actually there are some places which we talked about Portugal, and I've never been to Portugal, and actually lots of people I've spoken to have said Portugal would be a really good place to go to. So actually, it's something I want to kind of do. So aspiration is definitely there. Sometimes home doesn't let you do that. So the things that you kind of want to do, I'd pack up and go tomorrow. Whereas actually there's life that gets in the way of that piece. So I'm in that stage as well, where schooling and whatnot that needs to complete and things like that. So so reality for me is a little bit further along than I would have liked it to be, without throwing everything out and just doing my own thing and just
you're not doing the Ian Bluff. Should we emigrate?
Because he took his family, he got everybody on board. They all went at the same time, and it didn't matter about everything, and that was it. So for me, it would just be a case of me on my own somewhere.
But you see the difference there is Ian lived in Birmingham, and let's face it, they don't even empty the bins there now, do they?
In terms of doom and gloom, but there's a little bit.
Apologies to the listeners of Birmingham. We love you, really.
I'll understand it. So yes, that's what I'm saying. Aspiration is definitely there. That is my roadmap. That is where I'm going. It's just not as quick as I would have liked it, or still would like it to.
Very good. Do you remember what your word of the year was for 2020?
Opportunity, mate. We talked about opportunity goggles.
It was opportunity. That's where it all started. Was last year's Christmas podcast, wasn't it? Yes.
That's where we got the idea for live and whatnot, and spotting those opportunities and things like that. So.
Very good. How's that panned out then for the year, do you think?
I have taken quite a lot of opportunity, I think, this year, mainly to thin out my life. It's not my body, my life, which is quite good actually. I think I turned 50 last year, as you may remember. I still remember it, which only 50. But yeah, so it's kind of actually what does that look like for the remainder of my life, the next third or whatever it might be, quarter, 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, 1 year. I don't know whatever that looks like.
It's like doom and gloom.
I'm really taking that opportunity to reassess where I am and what I'm doing. So actually, looking forward for the next instalment of that chapter. But by thinning out a lot of the community stuff that I do, reducing that significantly, well, almost to zero, which is a big thing. So my word for next year is discover, and that is discover what the future piece holds. Really, appreciate the roadmap kind of thing, and where I'd like to go and what that aspiration is going to be. It's just actually discovering actually what else is that going to be, because there's a massive black hole in my life if I've taken out the community stuff. What does that?
You can't talk about black holes. It's forbidden. The politicians own that term now.
What does what does that? What does that time vortex look like? What's going to get sucked into it? That's the big question, and I'm not sure. So my word for next year will be discover. Discover. So actually discover that. My purpose for the next my next chapter, because actually by removing the community and that stuff out of it, that has been my purpose. So discover purpose. That's discover.
You're old enough to remember Plymouth's old tagline before we became Britain's ocean city. We were the spirit of discovery, were we not?
Hey, we were, weren't we? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we were.
Somewhere there's still a logo that they're not using anymore. You could borrow that, I reckon.
Well, yes. I'm not going to do politics. Move on.
We're not going to talk about HMRC's £500,000 rebrand, no?
Oh, the HMRC one. Oh, yeah. Well, Plymouth City Council did one for 50 grand as well.
Yes, that's right. It was the little clip art thing, wasn't it?
It was the little clip art thing that you can find on Microsoft quite happily, because if you look on the App Store, you can. There are about 10 apps that all use the same piece of clip art for the logo. But hey, never mind. That was 50 grand. Well spent.
Never mind. We're not doing politics. That's fine. Oh dear. So my word of the year for 2025 was ambitious, in brackets, and the thinking was that I was going to dial down my ambition. That was the plan. Was okay, ambitious lifestyle business. Let's do a little less ambition. Let's still be ambitious, but putting that in brackets and just dialing it down a little bit. And I, in a way, kind of did. The main way is probably retention first. So obviously the plan was for retention first. It was coming out summer 2025. The eagle-eyed amongst you might notice that this is our Christmas 2025 special, which is later than summer 2025. And no, the book isn't out yet. It is coming out very, very soon. As you listen to this, I'm going to be heading into the studio this month to record. So I'm hopeful. I don't have an exact date yet. I will let you know as soon as I do. But I'm hopeful that the date for Retention First launch will be early 2026. I'm going to say. I'm hoping it's going to be Q1. But we'll see how we go with it, because I don't want to put myself under pressure. And that where I did dial back that ambition was I probably could have got it out for summer 2025, but not without breaking me. Not without really, really significantly ramping up the stress and actually just moving that deadline and saying that it will be ready when it's ready. I'm going to plead the fifth. I'm going to plead Mr. Bull on this. It will take as long as it will take. I want it to be the best book it possibly can on customer retention. So that's taken a bit longer than expected. It's also one of the reasons I haven't actually enjoyed this year. It's because I've spent the majority of this year not writing, but editing that book. There's an old saying, the best books aren't well written, they're well edited. Well, I've been editing for 9 months now. And I'm still going, and I'm fed up of reading my own words and just changing a word here and moving a line there, or in particular finding a chapter and trying to split it into two different parts of the book and then doing the whole different timelines with stuff not working. So yeah, I have dialed back the ambition, but not enough. So much so that I've needed to have a tattoo this year of a flamingo on my wrist to remind me not to dial back the ambition, but actually to dial up the lifestyle, to put lifestyle first and foremost. So that's kind of leads into my word of the year for 2026, which is enjoy. And I'm going to put an exclamation mark on that because I really, really want to enjoy 2026. I've created my vision board. As usual, I've got 12 different things on it I want to achieve. But I've got the word enjoy right front and center. And then either side of that, I've got a photo of me and you, Jace, when we were having our photo shoot last year. And we have an inability to look serious for long enough for a shutter to click, I think. Isn't it? So there's just photos of us cracking up constantly. Because we just can't take serious photos, can we?
No. It was quite funny. As you say, not even the shutter click was enough to stop us from cracking up.
Yeah, we were launching Boardroom, and right, if we could please have a nice, serious, like you're going into The Apprentice, and I'm just do that, and we would hold it, just look out the corner of our eye, catch the other, and just crease up. So yeah, there's some very good food. But that's what I want, is a reminder that to me, that's what I love about running this business. That's why I've got an ambitious lifestyle business, is because I get to work with you and we get to have, I was going to swear then, we get to have a bloody good laugh doing so. We work with clients that we love. We make a huge difference in their business and we and they enjoy it. It's not a chore working together. We really, really enjoy it. There's been elements of this year that I said we haven't enjoyed quite so much, possibly because we've just taken every opportunity going.
No, I've just unlocked this, John. I've just unlocked the secret, and you've said it a few times in the words that you've done there. I've just unlocked the secret to our unjoy, whatever the word is I'm looking for there, and that is we've had a job this year. We haven't been running a business this year. And your editing was a job.
Yeah.
It was a chore. I have to do this. It's taken me 9 months to do it. It was a job, not a chore. And elements of what I've been doing this year has been a job rather than a chore. A job rather than a.
We all want chores, don't we?
Yeah, rather than running the business, it's been that. And if we look across some of our clients too, some of our boardroom members and stuff, the times when their world hasn't been as joyful as it should be was when they've been sucked back into the business and had a job and not running the business, which they thoroughly enjoy. So yeah, for me, that's that. I think that's the piece. And I think as times have become a bit more challenging around, then more people have had to do a job as opposed to run the business, and therefore it has been less joyful.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's certain things that we've kind of gone into this year, and me and you may have had a discussion. Oh, we've got to do that on Friday. On this date we need to do this, and we have to do that. Whereas probably in previous years, on Friday we get to do this, or brilliant, we're going to do that. And that, again, that language is very, very different, isn't it? From I have to do this, I've got to edit my book, and the amount of times I did say, I've got to edit, I can't do that because I need to edit my book. I need to, versus what I would have said at the back end of last year. I can't do that. I'm writing my book. I've got a writing day. Tomorrow's a writing day. I get to write, but I have to edit. If I was better at writing, I wouldn't need to edit as much.
I wasn't going to make that comparison. Well, I was going to, the eternal marketers that we are. If you'd like to find out when Retention First hits the bookshelves, I'm assuming they can put their email address somewhere on the website.
They can. They can go to bigidea.co.uk. They pop an email address in there. They will get not only information on when Retention First is coming out, a free sample chapter of that book as well. But they'll also get a free weekly Big Idea from me. It's like a little mini chapter. No selling, nothing like that. Just a little mini chapter of goodness and ways that you could improve your business by 1% every single week. So yeah, just head over to bigidea.co.uk. You'll find details on there about the podcast and about the 1% Club and about me and he. And you can even find out what we look like if you have a little look on there. Although the photos are a year old now, or more, and surprisingly, we're not looking very stern and serious.
Talking books, should we move on to books?
We should, yeah. Let's look at our
list
book of the year.
Do my short list of one?
Short list of one. Go for it then, yeah.
System Champion, David Jennings. Great book. Systemizing your business. He did systemology first and foremost. Mm-hmm. That was a good overview of how to kind of get the systemology piece working. However, the first chapter of that is telling you why you're not the right person as the business owner to be writing these systems, to do the systems and putting this process in place. System Champion is the book for the right person in your business. So chapter 1 is about what you do, why you need to find how you find the right person, and then you hand the whole book over to the person who should be writing your systems and your process.
So when you say it's your book of the year, you've read chapter 1.
Read chapter 1.
This book isn't for you, and you passed it off to someone else. Went, brilliant. That's the book for me.
That worked a treat for. Worked a treat for me. So yeah, but it's really good because it actually gives you that overview as to why it's important to have that system champion. Why it's important to have systems. It's not a rewrite of systemology. It obviously nods back to systemology. You don't have to have read that book because it covers enough of it in the book itself. So you don't. It's not. It's a standalone. I have obviously did read the system bit to the champions piece because I am a champion at the end of the day. So I read that piece and obviously step by step how to go about doing it, how to get your team on board, how to find out the information you need, the discovering of the systems you need in your business, how you then build those systems, and then how you sell the system idea to the rest of the team because there's no point having one if nobody follows it. So it's for me, good book, like it, I enjoyed it, and there's plenty of actionable stuff in there. It's good because you can find out what you need to do and how you need to go about it as the business owner. But obviously, the staff member that's going to become that champion also has a blueprint too to follow, and some lots of hidden tips and tricks to get through implementing the SAID systems in your business.
Very good. Systems champion, yeah.
The systems champion.
The systems champion, David Jennings.
Mm.
Very good. Forward to read. I've not read that myself, so I look forward to. I shall add that to my ever-growing to-read pile.
You don't need to read it; it's all good.
I'll just read chapter 1. Chapter 1. Oh, this book is really brilliant. Love it. Oh dear. Right. Okay. So my as always, I've got a short list of 3. I think I've listened to all of these books on Audible, and I think collectively they're probably over 50 hours worth of audio. So yeah, a little bit different to one chapter. My third on my list is Principles for Dealing with the Changing World Order by Ray Dalio. This is the negative financial book that I talked about earlier. Basically, it tells you what's going on throughout history, going back 600 years or 2,000 years or whatever, and basically makes the case that in the West, particularly the US and the UK, we are in a doom loop. We are looking at ever more negative sort of downward spiral, and meanwhile the East, in particular China and Asia, are rising, and they're compounding at a fairly healthy pace. And over the next decade or two, as one is in decline and the other rises, we are going to see a shift from west to east. As I said, very, very interesting that since then I am noticing a lot more articles around this. I'm noticing, China have done this with AI now. I was walking the other day and it was like, there's a Range Rover. I was like, hang on, that's not a Range Rover. What is it? So I Googled it. It's some Chinese SUV company. Basically, you can buy a Range Rover. It's 25 grand, fully electric, all the mod cons. I'm like, there's evidence once again of them getting stuff done, compounding their gains. They're investing in all the gold and silver. And it's like, okay, I can see this playing out. Very, very interesting. But, oh my God, it's like Ray Dalio's first book, Principles. It's a tough read. I think this one alone is 18 hours on Audible. Led to me feeling very, very down for a good 6-week period. I now feel very, very positive about the world overall. Our chances in the US screwed. But as a world overall, we're going to be fine, and we'll just end up working for China, or working with them, and they will be the dominant superpower. That's where I think it's heading. That's again, may not, but anyway, that's Principles for Dealing with the Changing World Order. It's a really catchy title, isn't it? Okay, second on my book list is Quit. There you go. It's a one word. Quit, Annie Duke. Interestingly, when we read this was one of our books of the month in the 1% Club back in like April, May time. And Karen Hardy, one of our boardroom members, hello Karen, said to me at one point, because she recommended it, so you've got to read this book, it's brilliant. She said to me, how are you finding it? And I went, yeah, it's all right. And she's like, it's not a popular one. So it's okay. But I think she made the point about halfway through the book and then could have stopped. And someone said it could have been a nice blog post, but I think it could have been a far shorter book. But at the time when I finished reading it, I would have rated it 3 out of 5, maybe 3.5 stars. But how many times have we referred back to that since then and said to someone, yeah, but you're just chasing after sunk cost there. What's your kill criteria? There was something the other day, you won't know this reference at all. Oh, it's this list. So my list of everything that I've got to do to get retention first out. And there's a principle that Annie Duke talks about in the book called pedestals and monkeys. Basically, if you need to train monkeys to stand on pedestals, focus on training the monkeys, because building the pedestals is easy. And most people just build the pedestals. Right, now all I need to do is train the monkey. So I kind of went at that. I need to train the monkeys first. What's the difficult stuff on here that I need to tackle first before writing an email, putting a landing page together? That stuff I can do in my sleep. So yeah, Quit by Annie Duke. And my number one book of 2025 is Will by Will Smith. Sorry, Matt, I interrupted your drum roll there.
If I did this, then Lee might put some drums in, but not.
He might do. You never know. Will by Will Smith. Unlike this podcast, it's highly edited. Basically, you have to listen to the audiobook. So Kieran, one of our 1%ers, bought the physical book. It is a doorstop. Again, I think it's not far off 15, 16 hours on Audible. In the book format, it's about that. And it's hard work. Whereas the audiobook, it is narrated by Will himself. He does rap in it. He does ad-lib in it. It's very, very highly produced. There is, I was going to say Mark Ronson, but it's not. It's Mark Manson is the co-author. But I want to say that Mark Ronson, if it's Mark Ronson, you'd know because there'd be lots of trumpets playing in the background. Mark Manson has written it. So it's part autobiography and part personal development book. So he kind of tells you what went well in his life, where he went wrong, but then there's the lesson for the rest of us as well. So opens with a story about him as a kid and his dad basically told him and his brother over the course of like an entire summer, you two kids are going to build a wall. And when we're talking a massive, massive wall.
Trump wall?
Yeah, kind of all across Mexico. And Mexico were going to pay for it. That was what it's... And this lesson was that, that's everything that Will Smith has done in his career is basically, he was told by his dad, there is no wall. Don't worry about the wall. Just lay the next brick. That's all you got to do is you get that next brick and make sure that brick is perfect. Then you get the next brick and you lay that one and it's perfect. There is no wall. There were so many like mantras and principles that just go through it. It's just stuck with me that there is no wall. Just lay the next brick. He says several times that his attitude to goal setting, a little unhealthy at times, but he said there are only two options. One is success. Success. Sorry, that was the Chris Eubank the audiobook. Success. Success or death. It's like you either succeed or you die. Those are the only two possible outcomes. We don't half-arse things. He talks about, if you're training, it's okay if you're training for a boxing match to lose to Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson punches you out, that's fine, but don't lose to yourself. And he was talking there about like when he dialed in an album and just spent ages doing it, spent far too much money, just got drunk every night. And he was like, we haven't lost because someone made a better album than us. We've lost because we couldn't be asked to do the work. We lost because we thought we were better than we are and we don't need to work that hard. He's got a thing about finding the blueprint. So there's how he became a movie star. Oh my God. He reverse engineered. He went, right, what's the top 20 highest grossing movies of all time? This is before AI, by the way. What have they all got in common? Oh, they've got aliens in it. They've got action in it. They've got romance in it. Right, okay. I'm only going to accept movies that have these elements in it. He then went, okay, how do I sell more movies? Well, America's worth X million. UK's worth this. Japan's. Most people couldn't be bothered touring the world. And he just went, what does Tom Cruise do? Who earns the most money in movies? Tom Cruise. What does Tom Cruise do? Tom Cruise goes to Germany and does interviews and spends 2 hours on the red carpet signing autographs. Okay, I'm going to go to Germany. I'm going to do interviews. I'm going to spend 3 hours on the red carpet signing autographs. And I am a musician. I'm a rapper. So I can do a free gig in the city as well, which gets me on the 6 o'clock news. I become newsworthy. I'm going to do more than Tom Cruise. He figured out, and he did it throughout his career, figuring out what's the blueprint and how can I do more. And my final one for that, which I'm going to leave you with, is that everyone has a ceiling to their ambition. Now, he talks about his ceiling was non-existent, basically, and he talks about constantly leaving people behind. He said, often I was stood on the bow of the ship, sailing off towards the sunny sunset, watching someone else stood on the dock, leaving them behind. And I thought, actually, I can think of several times in my career where I've been the person on the boat, but I can also think of times when sometimes I was on that boat and I shouldn't have been. I should have been on the dock saying, yeah, you crack on, mate. You want to go and get your VC money and sell your business for tens of million. That's great, but that's not for me. And conversely, at some point I've been on the boat going, okay, you're happy with beer money. See you later. I'm growing this business. And knowing what your ceiling is, knowing what the right level of ambition is for you is a nice way, I think, probably to bring us full circle back to ambitious in brackets, and to wish you a very happy and successful and enjoyable 2026. May it bring you whatever brings you joy, dear listener. Any parting thoughts from you, Jace?
Go discover it.
Go discover it. Embrace the spirit of discovery.
Embrace that spirit of discovery, yes, and then enjoy the rest of it. A fantastic idea.
Brilliant. As always, guys, we will see you or hear you, or you will hear us next month on the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. Have a great one. Merry Christmas. See you soon.
So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.